Oh, I gotta put the. There we go. Now we'll know what their black screen is supposed to say because I'm up the thing stuff.
There we go.
All right, blast your socials. If you're on the Twitters, just retweet the live link, please. Stuff.
There we go.
All right.
All right. So did you hear that Cameron Pasha, after our review of the Naked Gun trailer, did a review of the Naked Gun trailer and agreed with absolutely everything we said?
Oh, well, that makes sense. The first one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that he'd done that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Also, there's a piece that from Cameron that I didn't quite have time to note down. Apparently, the like Variety and whatnot is going after KK.
You want to find out in the background? We could probably add it to when we're ready to go.
Yeah. Well, I figured this is just perfect for leak content, right?
Well, of course.
That apparently she's been lobbying people for to give Iger a lifetime achievement award, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's apparently more or less just ignoring her.
Well, that's wonderful to hear.
They're like, yeah, get lost. You're no longer significant. And I couldn't be happier.
All right, so the last thing I'm talking about Orange Man, and then we gotta not talk about Orange Man the rest of the show. Apparently, he's claiming air superiority over Iran. Where the hell did that even? So what? We're involved now?
You're involved now.
Save it. All right. Where are we? Oh, I should probably hit the start button. Go.
Yeah, it's a they fly now. Really? You want to promote it on our Discord? Where some of the most amazing conversations that I've ever seen happen?
We jerk our circle hard in that Discord, and everybody is missing out on all the best conversations. Well, actually, we don't. We sometimes fight and get angry, but it's over, like, smart things.
Or incredibly dumb things.
Well, just like real life. Anyway.
But, like, hilariously dumb things, and we know they're dumb, and that's why we're arguing over them. Socials have been blasted like trying to find a PC term I can use here on YouTube. Oh well. No, I think it's great that the rest of the world has finally woken up to the fact that Kathleen Kennedy is not coherent or useful.
It hasn't been for some time.
Well, I mean, even when she was, the assistant, apparently she made terrible coffee. Makes you wonder what she was doing to stay on those productions.
Nope, it doesn't. Doesn't make me wonder. All right, we will see you all on the other side. Tonight, we got a whole bunch of things to talk about, including where you're going to stream Jaws for the 50th anniversary, as well as some D&D drama. All this and more on the Entertainment Information Intelligence Podcast. Ah, hit that a little too early. And welcome to the Entertainment Information Intelligence Podcast from the Writer Brothers, your honest quality human content home on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever day we do the Entertainment Information Intelligence Podcast, but we do always try to make Tuesdays our primary day. That's what we'll probably do. So. Gentlemen, let's go around the room. Corione.
Yeah, man. I've been on like a week of leg day for my brain. I am really, really happy to be here where instead of like, I've done my week of leg day. Now it's time for the mental equivalent of ice cream.
You know, mental leg day was one way to put it. You kind of didn't make it to the show, which for you is stupid rare. And, for what you described the experience, I would say it was more like mental leg day plus leg day again, followed by leg day again, and then, oh wow, your legs didn't break after 40 hours. Good for you, go home, bye.
Yeah, no, it was a week of 14-hour leg days. I'm glad I only have to do that once a year.
Yeah, I think we all kind of are there. Anyway, gotta read.
Dude, honestly, that sounds like something you do in college, like a couple of times for like the important tests. Not something you're supposed to do at a job.
Yeah.
I am doing a rare camera off. I went out on a boat yesterday. I know, I didn't post a picture anywhere on social media. How could that have happened? Sometimes, it's hard to believe, but some days are just for me. John's gonna enjoy this too much tonight. Perfect.
Okay, so wait a minute. What you're saying is you're not actually just a skinwalker that's doing a fairly good interpretation, or like imitation of P.D. York.
It's just that some days I don't post on social media. I don't always feel the need to tell everybody about my life, but I do enjoy sharing it from time to time, and I enjoy those that want to share back and want to engage, and that's what we like to do in the Discord, is if you want to hang out and get a little bit more personal and have more in-depth opinions than, like, not even just what we get here on this show, but way more in-depth opinions than what we get on the End of the World especially, and even on the Rogue Council, shoot us an email, thewriterbrothers@gmail.com. I should probably actually put that on the screen. Usually people find the Twitters and the Twitter up there for now, but I think I need
Skinwalker wearing PD shirt says what?
Sure. But anyway, I went out and got suntanned. By tanned I meant redded, because I didn't use the right sunscreens, and but my skin feels so much better with the shirt off. But unfortunately, I'm not subjecting the world to shirt off mode, so you get just faceless. Oh, where'd he go?
I thought you dumped him.
No. Sorry, you rambled something and then what?
Sorry, my microphone was being glitchy and it kept muting itself. But I just wanted to say, you're an albino who always lobsters.
Yeah, just about. Jay Ghost joining from.
I lobstered one of my knees.
Jay Ghost chimes in. Skinwalker, Texas Skin Ranger. That's right. Yes. How did you know? Welcome, Jay. Good to see you in the chat. Glad we got somebody in there tonight. Oh, right. Yeah. I should probably pull out on my new 2025 Motorola Razr. I should probably put it on. Yeah, I got a new phone up and running. Yay! Which I would show you guys, but as I said, camera off. If you would like to super chat to potentially see me turn the camera on with my shirt off, Well, we don't have super chats, so you can't do that either. Bummer.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think that gets into like, I don't know, only dad bods.
Only dad bods. Yeah, that's gonna be our new ticket to success right there. But let's get into the
Yeah,
thing.
let's get into the briefing.
into the intelligence brief. All right, Corion, you want to kick us off tonight?
Yeah. So Colin Trevorrow's been pretty busy over the last little
sorry. Stand by. We got way ahead of ourselves, moving way too fast. We should not have dove right into it without saying hello, beautiful Glenda. And John's dropping again. Goodbye, beautiful John. Just kidding. I had a minute
Galinda,
before
the
TV
good
time
mod.
with my aunt. Wanted to say hi. Well, thank you, Galinda. Please don't forget to check us out later after you guys enjoy your TV time. And of course, if you guys don't have time for the whole podcast, I now make it a point to at least do a weekly 3-minute podcast. Gajay Ghost says, turns out PD is a musician after all. Yes, it's true. The 3-minute podcast is... Okay, John's now loading in. Must be having weak sauce interwebs today. The 3-minute podcast is something we are for sure doing every week. Why am I saying that we're doing it for sure every week? Because next week, the Tuesday show is on break. We are now shifting to bi-weekly, kind of, sort of. Sometimes we'll do 2 weeks in a row. Sometimes we'll go every other week. Sometimes we'll do 2 weeks off in a row. It's just going to depend on what's happening. It's summertime, people. Go outside and play. We'll still be here for those that get sunburned and need to, sit inside and recover like me. But we all know that you all got stuff to do. We all know that right now, especially if you live in a state that gets a bunch of white powdered bullshit 3 to 6 months out of the year, that you probably don't want to spend your Tuesday nights indoors when the sun is still out. So we understand. Come back and watch us when it's convenient, or catch the 3-minute short version. We will be back to full force probably about mid-September when we also work shows back into it. So,
All right.
So yeah. Glenda says, I went outside and cut back some trees. My aunt wanted to see her pond again. Oh, see? There's right there. What I'm talking about. Cool Aunt Galinda's going outside and working on trees.
That's where it's at.
Really good.
But
to
also,
see you.
If you guys do want a TV show to watch, Apple TV dropped Murderbot. It's awesome.
Yeah.
What are you promoting shit? An advertisement in the middle of our show? Disgusting. Anyway. I'm just kidding. All right, Coriel.
So,
back to what we were trying to attempt 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, so Colin Trevorrow's in the middle of a lot of genre pieces right now. And, everything from a new movie, Deep Cover, the return of Jurassic World as a franchise, and he's even going to be doing the Star Wars X-Men or X-Wing Ryan Johnson, or not Ryan Johnson, one of the young heartthrob kind of people, X-Wing movies. So he's actually doing a lot in genre right now, and he's saying that he absolutely loves it. If you are a Colin Trevorrow person, he's going to be the guy to watch for the next little bit. His star is rising. He's getting access to all the kind of the deeper, movie series right now, and I'm curious to see what he's going to do with it. He's done a few decent movies in the past.
Sorry to interrupt and throw you off again, but Skogly's in the chat saying, too hot and too bright, will lurk in the dark again. Well, thank you, Skogly. We appreciate the support. We'd always love to have you back on the panel, but hey, it's summer vacay, so enjoy.
Yeah, man, it takes a lot to cool down a giant.
And also, I want to say this is going to probably start being our normal season now. We will do hardcore, 4 to 5 weeks in a row during the fall, winter, and spring, but then about May is probably when we're going to go back to this relaxed schedule for the rest of the Writer Brothers' foreseeable future.
Mm-hmm.
So now back to what we've been talking about.
So, I mean, I think I've pretty much gone through it as many times as I'm willing to.
Okay, perfect.
What do you guys think of Colin Trevorrow? What do you guys think of his work that you've seen so far? And what do you think about him being handed the keys to the kingdom, basically?
Well, he did the Jurassic World trilogy, which I'll admit visually and, well, okay, yeah, he did get 4 billion worldwide. So, I mean, it hit all the nostalgia marks. It had Chris Pratt in it. It did all the right stuff it was supposed to. So,
okay, I think there's a difference because I think a lot of his movies, there's a difference between like nostalgia marks and foundation pillars to make it a cohesive universe. Because like, I think it was until the second one that he brought the Jeep back, but like in the first one, it was mostly just alluding to the fact that it came from the same island, or it was the same island a few years later.
Yeah.
And I feel like there was never a good story there.
Okay,
Like,
so
it's
he
always been a
was...
theme park with dinosaurs. So like what he did with the visuals, and I mean, he should have been in charge of Godzilla because like his monsters were fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I think Corion's right. I think he's like a better written Michael Bay.
Oh, dang it. It's not.
Yeah, like Michael Bay, but not sucking. Yeah.
Unlike me trying to run this stupid show. Or it's not stupid. I'm being stupid. You guys are great. Before he was slated to helm Jurassic World Dominion, Trevorrow was in the process of developing Star Wars Duel of the Fates, his version that would later become, of course, The Rise of Suckwanker.
Yeah, but
now, hold on.
Trevorrow's take on it was good.
I 100% agree. That's important because this line here, the team that made Andor, I guess I can say that you're the ones who finally brought me back in.
Yep.
This is... Okay, so we all know, at least from what we could get on our Insider with Sparrow, about a lot of the just toxic nonsense that was going on with, especially, not just Last Jedi, but the last Kennedy trilogy film. Kennedy Wars is what we'll call that one.
Yeah.
The last of the Kennedy Wars movies, pretty much, like, they went back to J.J. Abrams because, you know, they chased Trevorrow off, and as well as, like, 5 other people.
Yep.
And then come back to do this. And then, of course, you know, we end up with J.J., and that's how we get Palpatine returning and Space Horses and all that. I will say that the first Jurassic World, while a movie, it does hit all the right marks, and knowing nostalgia is important, as we learned with Andor. But the fact that
I would say that
the fact that he's inspired by Andor is a very good sign, and also another huge W for Andor.
I would also make an argument that the first Jurassic World movie, while not mind-blowing, was certainly a course correction from the previous Jurassic Park movies.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Jurassic Park 2 and 3 were not great, but Jurassic World was a sizable improvement.
Yes.
So, you know, I mean, he knows his stuff, and based on his previous body of work, I mean, the fact that he's potentially, like, he's currently got another Jurassic World movie cooking, it's due out, that he's potentially doing what's going to become, or what became the X-Wing Star Wars X-Wing.
The Starfighter.
Yeah, Starfighter. I mean, that's not a bad deal, right? We've got somebody who really does know their way around genre films.
Yeah.
Well, and not to mention, I think what he's saying when he says that, like, Andor's the one that got him back in, he's saying in both respects that, like, Andor reset the tone, not just to the audience, but to the directors. Like, hey, you guys want to write Star Wars again? We don't have to do fan fiction.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, that's the new tone is such a good thing to hear from a disrespected director. Like, somebody who was slighted is saying, no, that team convinced me it's worth it, and I actually want to go back. which is really nice because I really do think that like when J.J. Abrams set the tone with the New Jedi, like, yeah, it was a little bit of a, obviously it was a Mary Sue and all that stuff, and I love literature devil's like breakdown of how bad it was, but like what he reinvigorated wasn't just the fact that like Star Wars was, you know, making money again. It's the Star Wars was open to new directors. Like it had been a George Lucas only fan club for everything except for animated series. And so I think a lot of the people who got into the film industry because of Star Wars really got burned during the Kennedy franchise, and now there's finally an opportunity for that to change.
Yeah, no, this
I think
definitely.
that's what he's demonstrating, is that tide has actually shifted externally and like who they're asking to direct new films.
Completely agree, John. That is excellent points all around, and you're right. Like this clearly shows the tonal shift at Lucasfilm right now. Like this is not a small situation. This is not a small, like, first of all, it speaks to the quality of Andor. Like it's bringing fans back. I was excited for season 2. Loved season 2. I mean, the first 3 episodes, Star Wars Theory's kind of right. It was a bit slower and a bit more. It just didn't.
It was a slower pace. It took a little more time.
It also felt a bit more like a filler. And then we got to the next. But I don't agree that I felt that the next block of episodes was good. And then, of course, from then on, just some of the best Star Wars that we have seen since Empire Strikes Back. Andor is definitely up there in Luke is straight up Luke's canon. So the fact that that's what brought him back, that's what got him excited. But then I have to wonder, as I'm sitting here listening to you guys, you know, make your points, I have to almost consider the fact that you said that Kennedy isn't being taken seriously anymore. Well, sounds like this is it, because if he had a problem with Kennedy, why would he go back to Star Wars if Kennedy is still in charge?
Exactly. And you would think, given all the projects that they've claimed are active right now, that the head of the studio would need to be in the office, not running around trying to get a Lifetime Achievement Award for Iger.
Right. To the team that made Andor, I guess I can say that you're the ones who finally brought me back in. Finally! Meaning that Favreau and Filoni have been poking him for some time. And he's probably been like, is Kennedy still there? Click. Is she still there? Click. She's okay, she's
No,
like, this is for real.
I don't even know if it's
out.
that part. I don't think it's that part. I think it's more along the lines of like, I do not like the project slate. Like, I think he was asked for everything. I think he was invited back for Obi-Wan. I think he was invited back for even probably Mandalorian.
Shit, you're
and
probably
then probably
right.
everything else. But then Andor, after all of the trash, Andor comes out and sets the tone back to where it's supposed to be, and ranks, I think one of our next articles is it ranks number 1. And
that is
for
an
Disney,
article we were almost at, but yeah.
That's a Star Wars first for a long time. Like, Kenobi was there for the first 3 episodes and lost it immediately, but it was against like a poor catalog. Disney and Hulu have been paired together for a while now, and like I watch those top 10 charts, and they are very much the most basic movies. Like occasionally it's a new one, but that new one's in number 7 and it's there for 1 weekend, and then it goes back down to 0. Like the rest of the other top 10 is like I think the Christmas movies were top 10 for like 2 months after Christmas. That's how slow theirs moves, because like nobody watches anything else on Disney. So for Star Wars to rank number 1 and then get the other Star Warses up there, and then like Episode 3 came out for people in theaters for the 20th anniversary, and that also got the other Star Warses all back up in the top 10 charts for a couple months. Like May the 4th just annually puts Star Wars back up on the top 10 charts for like 3 days.
Yeah. All right.
And
All right, let's move on.
Yeah, let's get back into
That's what
this.
Andor's like speaking to, and I think that's what this director's speaking to.
100% agree.
That's finally changing again.
And we will we'll follow this up later in the podcast when we mention the well, we got another Andor story to get through. So for now, let's get through everything else. Jaws gets its streaming debut for the 50th anniversary. Where can you watch all 4 films online? Well, I'm going to actually read it this time. It's been 50 years since Jaws first surfaced, and the Steven Spielberg-directed 1975 thriller has continued to capture fans to this day. To celebrate the 50th anniversary of the first film, all 4 movies in the cult favorite franchise get their streaming debut on 2 days ago. Jaws, Jaws 2, Jaws 3, and Jaws the Revenge are now streaming exclusively on Peacock. There it is, folks. You can go stream it on Peacock, or you can rent and buy the movies on Apple or Prime.
Yep.
And, wow. The 3-minute version had a... Oh, that is not meant to do. But you can see the box art a little bit there. But $22.99 USD at Walmart or Amazon.
Now, to me, this is kind of cool because, for a long time, the rights holders for Jaws were holding out and not putting it on streaming services. And I'm really happy to see that it's there now and it's available. Because, let's be honest, Jaws is the absolute goat of action horror movies. And it's great to see it back in the public consumption.
It's the original Sharknado.
Right?
It's the original shark horror film.
Mm-hmm.
Some might even say it's the original Fast and the Furious.
Gore film. That's what we can celebrate. That's what we can do to separate gore movies and action, tasteful
Back
horror.
to the Future predicted Jaws 37 or whatever it was. It was supposed to be a Super Bowl annual release.
All right.
We've been talking about the live action How to Train Your Dragon, and apparently everybody's been seeing the live action How to Train Your Dragon. Record opening 84,198 globally. I guess this is record for the studio.
Well, it's a return to the $1 billion movie, which, let's be honest, has not been a big thing over the last 10 years?
Well, no. At least it probably feels like 10, but I would say Oppenheimer was the last. Or no, Deadpool and Wolverine.
No, I'm saying it's been really rare. There was a time where everything was coming out that was $1 billion.
Oh, yeah, movie. That's right. The summers of blockbusters. I think it started with Bayformers, or the Transformers Michael Bay, which is one of the best movies ever made.
You shut your whore mouth.
No, you enjoy it. Like it. It's one of my favorite movies. Or hate it, and we'll talk about it. Oh, we're going to do a deep dive into that one. We'll probably do that one. Oh, that one? Oh, I know exactly. We'll do a live watch party.
Day.
We'll do a live watch party and review.
Special.
Huh?
Oh my God.
That's our 4th of July episode.
Live watch and review of Michael Bay Transformers. Bro, do not tempt me with a good day.
Ugh. All right, you filthy casuals. Let's get into it. So,
hey, I love the Armadas. We watched every episode of Transformers Armada and had the action figures growing up. We aren't totally uncultured.
All right, anyway. So, I thought this was pretty cool. Look, the live action movies, as a general rule, that Disney have done have been pretty terrible.
And rightfully so.
Right, but then here we get a How to Train Your Dragon, and they were literally showing the audiences how to do it right. Right? This is DreamWorks saying, hold my beer, Disney.
Wait, didn't we? Okay, yeah, DreamWorks always crushes that, but we did have a minor Sonic moment pretty early on in the making, right?
True. But this is definitely... Actually, no, it's not even hold my beer. It's hold my mead, because we're dealing with Vikings here.
I'm going to be honest. It's more like, don't make us hold ours.
Yeah, right? But I'm really surprised, right? A lot of people were quite sad when the How to Train Your Dragon animated movies ended. And now we're going back to it. They stayed pretty close to the original script for the movie, which is, the right way to do it. They didn't screw around too much with the character designs, which is pretty good. The only thing they really changed was the appearance of how some of the dragons looked. Not Toothless, but some of the other dragons. And, a lot of people were very, very happy to go back to this well and watch more of this, because I feel like a lot of people could see themselves in the main character. A lot of people identified with the idea of these two characters wind up with a disability and learn to overcome it together. Right? And, at the end of the day, it's a boy and his, fire-breathing killing machine story. And, who doesn't love those, right?
Yeah. No. I agree. All right. I gotta get a little sound bit or something recorded for this, or pick up the little blurb from Back to the Future. But now it's time to talk about some serious shit. The Boys star Erin Moriarty reveals Graves' disease diagnosis. She took to Instagram to let her fans know. A month ago, she was diagnosed with Graves' disease. Within 24 hours of beginning treatment, I felt the light coming back on. It's been increasing in strength ever since. Yours is dimming even slightly. Go get checked. Don't suck it up and transcend suffering. You deserve to be comfy. Shit's hard enough as it is. I mean, I completely agree with that. You feel sick, don't be afraid of the hospital bill. It could cost you your life. And, well, as I like to remind people, in any job, especially whether it's fine art or water excursions or information systems technology or whatever the hell John does these days, health before wealth, always. Don't ever think that if you think you can save a couple bucks on a ambulance ride, I mean, you're coherent enough to do that math in your head. Maybe you can. Maybe it's worth the risk. But at the same time, you don't be afraid to go see your doctor when you need to.
I think she's sending the right message with this. She's not really asking for sympathy. She's saying like, hey, treatment really helped me. Go get some if you need it. Which
and I think
I'll go for
to interrupt. She's also saying like, if you guys hear anything about delays, like everybody's gonna be like, hey, we heard. Like now when they say there's delays, we're like, no, we know why. Chill.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean that's a reasonable thing to do too. Look,
I think professional.
I think if you want to be a professional in this industry, this is the template. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's great. And I'm personally willing to put up with a little bit of delay on the next season of The Boys to make sure that Erin Moriarty gets the treatment and she's up to snuff to be able to play her character properly.
Well, and I hope her friends on the cast get the chance to help her through this,
Yeah.
Like, I don't want them distracted by trying to do reshoots because they want to work around her out. Like, I hope Amazon actually acknowledges the human in this situation. Like, I know it's hard for Amazon, but, like, come on, guys. Humans are at stake, and humans are the ones that watch your shows.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm super proud of the way she did this and the professionalness involved. And I thought it was worth calling out, right? That hey, there are some people in the industry that treat this like a real job.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Odd way to call out sick, but you do you, boo.
Yeah.
All right, next.
All right.
Nicholas Scalella, look at that name, teases He-Man costume as Masters of the Universe wraps production, and that's a pretty teased He-Man costume. So he has the power, ladies and gentlemen. That's our He-Man.
Yeah.
John,
So
you were a
I mean,
He-Man fan when we were kids. I think.
Hard no, dude. I hate He-Man. Oh my god,
This should be good.
haunt me in my nightmares. Mostly because my grandma would leave it on when she would babysit us in Nevada. We all slept on the couch, and it would just, oh man, I have the power.
Hey, man, could have been worse. Could have been thunder, thunder, thunder. Okay, I don't
Hey,
hate
man.
Thundercats, but
Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
okay, Aqua Teen Hunger Force isn't cringe. All right, it's a little.
Dude,
Okay.
not when you're
So-
7. It doesn't make any sense. And why is there a floating meatball that looks like
Yeah.
a brain?
I can't believe I'm
So,
saying
okay.
this, but you need to go and smoke some stuff. Why are you questioning the logic of Aqua Teen? You know the answer. You know
right,
exactly
so
who that show appeals
to be fair, with this series,
The food's
look,
talking.
this movie is already starting on the back foot. Kevin Smith really did a number on the franchise and to the classic fans.
Oh, without a doubt.
And now, like, they're dealing with trying to come up with like a live action He-Man that's going to be respectful to the original and not be the monstrosity that was the Dolph Lundgren version. And you know what? From all accounts, from what we've seen from the costume department, from the little teasers and the little sneak peeks that they've given us,
Yeah.
this isn't looking too bad. All right, it's going to come down to the plot. It's going to come down to, how they put this together. I mean, yes, at the end of the day, He-Man was one of the OG, we're making a comic to sell toys, 30-minute commercials. But they also did try to teach kids something. They did try to build an intriguing fantasy world. I'm in line to be like, okay, let's see what somebody who treats the IP with a level of professionalism can do with it.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly,
Hold on.
the amount of
real
people
quick.
I've heard that like
Sorry.
that
Paul-
are mad at the other stuff have been super. Sorry, just one sec. The people that have been mad at the other stuff, they have been saying that this one is supposedly the closest and the most fan dedicated, and apparently it's a really big world. I just had nightmares from Grandma's house.
The fact that Fast and the Furious took Jaws' spot at Universal Orlando makes John's comment something pretty meta. Apologies, Jagos, for the delayed comment reaction, but try to be better.
Yeah, fair enough.
Gwildor, says Jagos.
There we go. But yeah, so this, like I said, a lot of the hardcore fans are saying that this is something worth checking out. I'm probably going to see it in theater because I'm curious as to what they do.
We could probably make it one of those offline review things we need to get back into doing at some point.
I mean, because like either I'm going to come back and be like, I know the story I'm going to write. It's either going to be how to do nostalgia right, or it's going to be, why we should leave the old IPs buried, right? There is no in between for this show. So I'm curious to see which one they make me right here.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, Hollywood flashback. When But I'm a Cheerleader sent Natasha Lyonne to conversion camp.
Okay, so given that it's Pride Month, I decided that this would be a good one to jump on. Have either of you guys seen the movie But I'm a Cheerleader?
Can't recall.
Okay, it is an absolutely brilliant queer coming of age movie, and I really recommend, even if you're not like into queer cinema, checking it out because I feel like there's something for everybody in here. The long and short of it is the main character is a cheerleader at her high school, and her parents send her to conversion camp because they think she's a lesbian. Okay?
All right.
And it turns out when she went to conversion camp, she wasn't, but she meets a girl at the camp and falls in love. Right? Interesting way for it to all get played out. And it's probably one of the most soulful, heartwarming, and you feel like your heart gets crushed by the end of it kind of movies. Really worth taking a look at. And the fact that one of the main actresses, their parents, having not seen the movie, thought that her playing a queer character meant that she should go to conversion camp, like to get straight again. Dude.
Yeah.
Such an interesting story there.
Go figure, it initially gets an NC-17 rating.
Yeah.
But gets an R by cutting the line about oral sex between two women. And of course,
we did discuss this on our ratings episode a couple years ago.
We did.
Yep.
And honestly, reading this article, I don't think there would be much to change from our review of that, because it's clearly...
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, of course they gave it all these, ratings. Like, obviously, it's...
Like, don't get me wrong, there are some pretty racy moments in it. Like, I probably wouldn't watch this movie.
The R?
Well, here's what I would say. I wouldn't watch it with grandma.
Gotcha.
But I would certainly think that if you are a professional film critic, this is something to watch. And two, I think if you have queer people in your life and you want a better help of understanding what some of the things people in that particular persuasion have gone through in their life, this is 100% the movie to watch. On top of that, the sets are bright and bombastic.
Yeah.
And
so
honestly, it's great, man.
I'm gonna take a minute to segue, to kind of derail, probably piss some people off, but it is what it is. We need to mention that this, if a film like this had either gotten an R out of the gate or even a PG-13,
yeah,
we wouldn't have the overabundance of LGBTQ shit in movies. We wouldn't have the woke problem, at least as severely.
I don't think we would.
Don't get me wrong. There is an element out there that has absolutely been working to get people divided, to come up with just some outrageous, outlandish shit to get people riled up over. There's a lot of fake garbage that does happen. This story is based on something that's a little bit more on the truer side of things. And it's obviously meant to educate and inform the way that movies typically educate and inform. And because of that, well, we couldn't have that in 1999 when the American Motion Picture Association was occupied heavily by right-wing Christian types. And of course, if you know anything about Christianity, anything gay is obviously forbidden because they have some really weird roundabout conclusions to draw on it. Here's the thing, guys. The Writer Brothers is a First Amendment channel, meaning we protect everyone's rights to speak their mind and live their lives as they see fit. As long as you aren't causing harm to anybody, as long as you aren't, forcing your ideology on kids, whether it becomes in the form of an overabundance of rainbows or, trying to convince someone's parents to let their kids go to your church. I think we can all come to an agreement at this point in 2025 that the young kids, from like 0 to 12 or so, they don't need to necessarily be exposed to a bunch of stuff one way or the other. Ideologies and philosophies is stuff that you can start getting into at about that 12 to 13 age. And so, if this film hadn't been suppressed as much, we would have been having the dialogues and conversations sooner. We would have been... Things would not have been as crazy, and so the reason why you have an overabundance of LGBTQ is because you had members of the correct religion trying to censor them.
Yeah.
But dude, when everybody goes, no, none of you guys weren't suppressed, you're just a small portion of the population. Well, this is evidence that
a small portion of the population was inappropriately and wrongly oppressed.
Yeah, I mean, look, to me, what this film represents is this is a fascinating dive into the experience of kids who did not grow up under the straight normative, if you will, right? Like that this is the experience you didn't get to hear about. And to be perfectly honest, look, if you take a look at the numbers of alcoholism, for example, between somewhere like France and somewhere like the US. Look, in France, the drinking age is more or less a suggestion. It's a don't be drunk in public under this age kind of thing. Not a don't drink, just don't be drunk in public.
We instituted this for the American tourists because one of them let their 6-year-old go off.
Yeah, well, but the point of it is, though, what happens in France is by the time they get to the legal drinking age, there's a lot less alcoholism.
Yep.
Right? Conversely, because it's been taboo for much of their teenage years, right? When they get the chance to finally drink, they go crazy. I feel like there's a similar logic between understanding sex and sexuality.
100%. I mean,
Right?
I don't necessarily...
Like, I'm not saying go into the mechanics of
Let me
it,
put it to you this way.
but putting out the relationship as being, hey, it's just another type of relationship is probably fine.
I am the person I choose to be. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
However, I can say that growing up in that in the Protestant sort of Southern Baptist kind, in that suppression of desire, because it's like I like to point. Sometimes I like to point to the cross or pictures of Jesus on the cross and go, remember, this had to happen because you like boobies, and I think that that whole thing's ridiculous. Well, why? Because they put so much censorship in this weird fake puritanical culture. Don't get me wrong, but that's what's crazy is they programmed me to think that just because that things are so black and white, that just because somebody would be free to go look at boobies, that just means they're uncontrollable and they don't have self. And I'm like, well, no, self-control has to do with respecting consent and learning to say they take no for an answer. And yet it's the conservative state of Idaho that to this day has a law where husbands can legally rape their wives.
Yeah.
Who's educating what? Don't educate me on morality anymore. You guys were wrong on like most everything. And this is further proof of that. This is not a movie that's saying, your kids are all gay. They're gonna catch the gay. Look at them all be gay now. No, this is a movie about kids that legitimately cannot help their attraction, and they don't need conversion therapy. They just need love.
That's it. That's absolutely it.
But it's a lot easier to ramp out the camera off. I'll admit that. But
yeah. But and guys, if you get I am legitimately curious as to what you guys think about this movie. I'll be honest with you, it's one of the movies that in my house gets a lot of attention. It's one of those kind of, weird popcorny movies we'll sometimes put on. Totally worth checking out, at least from our side here. I'd have zero problem at this point, now that my daughter's, 13 or whatever, her watching this to get an idea of what, of what relationships can look like, right? I would have no problem with that. There are a couple of scenes where I'd probably feel where my daughter would feel more awkward than I would, but
yeah. Jay Ghost, right? Jay Ghost with just the zinging cherry on top of my rant. The RNC regularly crashes Grindr services in cities where they meet. They don't want to see gay people hug in public because it makes them instantly think of their genitals. That sounds like they lack self-control.
That's it, man. Look, to me, I would much rather us model healthy relationships of all kinds than what's currently going on.
Not even just model healthy, but also use movies to show toxic relationships and why they're toxic.
Yeah,
use
absolutely.
shows to, like, Ted Lasso is an incredible show, not because, Ted takes so much crap all the time and haha funny. It's because he shows how to navigate hard situations. The show shows how to navigate hard situations without becoming an asshole. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, this was not a movie that was supposed to convert your kids to anything or convince them. This was a movie that was supposed to educate people, and that's I'm happy to we could probably get an offline review of it up next week because well, this is technically our last show in June if we're not doing it next week. But.
Yeah, like I said, I highly recommend you guys check out the movie, if only to see what queer cinema looks like.
Yeah. See what queer cinema looks like. Puts on Malcolm in the Middle. Oh, I've seen this one. We're good.
All right.
Bryan Cranston explains why Eric Per Sullivan didn't return for Disney Plus Malcolm in the Middle sequel. Well, I think I can speak on Brian's behalf and say it's just because he's too cool for the rest of us. No, I'm just kidding. The kid was actually, he's been studying in school. He retired from acting after the show ended. Hasn't really, or no, it wasn't right after the show ended. It was, he did a couple movies and just decided to retire early because he didn't, much like,
it wasn't his life.
Much like Jack Gleason didn't want to be that guy. And hey, sad to not see you show up, honestly. Really actually kind of am. Just because it would have been cool.
I would say that I am sad to see him not show up, but I 100%
But I'm glad it's for
respect
good
his
reasons.
decision.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
like
not,
I respect his choice.
It's not. It's not because Eric Per Sullivan's a registered sex offender now, and we don't want that. I'm totally saying that as a please don't make that a real headline, buddy.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, he seems like a really decent person that's got a good head on his shoulders, and I really hope all the best for him. Again, I would have liked to have seen him on the show personally, but that's for personal reasons, and I'm glad he's making the choice for himself on what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. And you know what? I got a lot of respect for somebody who makes that choice for good reasons, right? Like,
yes.
If he was doing it because he was like, no, I have to make more money than everybody on this remake, or I'm not doing it, that would be a shitty thing.
Right. Yeah. No, it's
and shout out to Bryan Cranston for doing the media for him.
Yeah.
He's like, no, he's so far out of it. He asked me to tell you guys he doesn't want to be.
Bryan Cranston has apparently never stopped being Hal.
Yeah.
Like, he stayed in touch with all the boys, hangs out with them, like, regularly. Like, he's their real fake dad.
Bro,
well, when Frankie Muniz was still doing NASCAR, Bryan Cranston would show up to the races.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys have to watch his conversation with Rainn Wilson on Soul Boom. He has a podcast, and he and Bryan Cranston talk about theater and why Bryan loves it, but also why the different boys had the way they felt about it.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting, but it is exactly what you're saying. Very I'm a part of these boys' lives because I was a part of these boys' lives, and I'm going to act like an adult should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be, right?
I love that. I love that energy. Be the change you want to see in the universe,
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, not every, TV dad is required to be Bryan Cranston level, but I mean, it obviously worked out in that, yeah. No, he was still, yeah. So it's always good to stories. All right, Amazon finds its American Gladiators, hires 106 and Park, co-host as sideline reporter. What did I just read?
Amazon is remaking American Gladiators.
Okay, I got that part. What?
They're actually
Explain
fighting
it like I'm a
to the
dumbass
death
millennial.
this time.
Okay, so 106th and Park is a TV show, and they're the guy who's going to be on the field as people get their butt kicked by by a gladiator.
I thought these were names of people.
Yeah.
Now I get it. That's the show they were on.
That's the show they were on.
Thank you. Explain it like I'm dumb. And this
I was trying not to.
has been brought to you by Choreo. I don't know. I gotta do a We got to start doing real fake ads soon too. But yes, speaking of real fake shows, American Gladiators is actually, well, semi-scripted in that, they have the, grand entrances to the things and they kind of talk their shit. But the competitions feel a little more authentic, a little more...
I mean, to me, I always thought it was a game show. Right?
I think a lot of people thought it was a game show.
Yeah, I thought it was American Ninja Warrior, but against the Gladiators.
But
yeah, and that's basically what
with some WWE sprinkled in.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like the Gladiators whack you while you're doing an obstacle course, like wipe out all of these combined. Honestly, I thought it was like the Muscle Man's attempt at doing something like serious, but everybody sees it more as like the WWE wipeout.
Yeah, and I mean, like, to be fair, I do have some really great memories of my family watching American Gladiators around the TV, right? And
dude, I remember watching all the returns.
Yeah, there you go, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, so part of me is like, oh my God, they're bringing it back. And part of me is also cringing going, oh my God, they're bringing it back. So I'm not totally sure where this is going to land, but I do think it's going to be a guilty pleasure of throwing it on a streaming service and watching it.
So this is my favorite
when
part.
Amazon decides to buy it, you do know that within 10 years, real death.
No, like this is how the Running Man starts. I get that.
Here's my favorite part of the article. Yes, the 16 gladiators will have gladiator names like the OGs Gemini, Lace, Nitro, and Zap. Those have not been sorted out just yet. Anyway, here's all their real names. We're just going to go ahead and dox them for you.
Fair enough, but I mean, to be fair, some of those female gladiators, like, look, Gina Carano was one of the female gladiators in the remake, like the first remake. There are some serious men and women on that list that are actually really, really
it takes me to
designed
Instagram.
for it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I think this could be either hilarious or actually quality.
It couldn't be any worse than something terrible. Speaking of, this one's a mixed bag for me.
Okay.
Are you ready for a Netflix theme park? We are, says the Hollywood Reporter. I am confused noises.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, right? Disney, like the two biggest organizations for media in the world do have theme parks associated with their product, right? Even Paramount technically had a theme park for quite a while.
Yes, it did. It still does.
Yeah, so there we go, right?
Wait,
so
actually, let me check and make sure. Now that you mention it, I could have closed it. I missed it. God, that would be
right,
so
but
sad.
I mean, Canada's Wonderland used to be a Paramount park with, Paramount themed everything.
Yeah. Nope, California's Great America is still operational. They're actually open right now.
Okay, so there we go, right?
Hey, John,
so when you think about it,
a couple hours.
But at any rate, when you think about it,
that's right.
This is, it's not that crazy for Netflix to design a theme park and have rides and whatnot based on their most popular IPs. Right? Having a spooky Stranger Things land doesn't seem too out of the ordinary, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to... So is this like all... I don't understand what's going on here. Like, is it all just Black Mirror themes, or...
Well, it would be all the Netflix exclusive shows. So yeah, there could be a Black theme ride or a Black Mirror adventure or Black Mirror ride or whatever, right?
What do you mean? Like, Black Mirror has so many just like fun worlds attached to it that you can do and be a part of, that they can spin off. Like, Netflix actually has a ton of, like Corion's saying, like exclusive content that is more world than it is content.
Yeah.
So
Well,
like they
as
have
it
a
turns
lot
out,
of theme, not a lot of park, and that's where the park can just be whatever they can pay somebody to make it.
Yeah.
yeah. Jay Ghost says American Gladiators was. Oh, he quoted me as saying, "I hate black media." I guess. Jay Ghost says American Gladiators was some of the coolest shit ever. American Gladiators SNES game was even better. And Black Mirror gift shop on the way out will mess your life up for a bit. Well, yeah, that's almost
Okay,
like
that would be kind of cool, admittedly, right? Like all the gadgets that destroyed people's lives as stuff in the gift shop. I dig it, but the idea is there's enough. The proposal that they're stating here is there's enough unique IPs between all the different interesting pieces they've got out there that it's conceivable that Netflix could create a theme park based on their most famous IPs and probably rake in a large amount of money doing so. Like, as much as none of us would ever want to engage in the actual Squid Game, having a couple of the Squid Game events available for people to play at,
yeah.
like the red light, green light kind of thing, is very, very cheap and very basic, and yet would probably make them an awful lot of money.
Yeah, so these are suggestions that Hollywood Reporter is fronting. If you actually, as it turns out, if you continue to read the article, you'll get some explanations. But before we get into it, Jay Ghost says, Street Entertainment, Joe from You just follows around one family per day, from far enough away to just be mildly menacing.
Right, there you go.
All right, first up on
Dude
the list.
periodically gives them notes about how he feels about them.
It's a small screen after all. In case you haven't heard, Netflix is global, with kids offering like Pepe Pig and My Little Pony. The streamer... Oh god. You think the kids are going to ride it if you put My Little Pony there? Yeah.
There's going to be some creepy bronies, but I still kind of want it.
Bringing my kids to that shit. No child of mine's going to know My Little Pony, mainly because I know the weirdos that are going to be there. The streamer brings children everywhere together just in their separate living rooms. Here, park goers can see how kids across the globe What? Tablet in Thailand, a phone in France, a PlayStation in Peru, but I have all those here in the best country in the world, America.
Okay, it might be interesting. It's an interesting idea to show off like their wider.
Here's how kids around the world waste their existence. Anyway, great moments with Mr. Hastings. It's important to pay homage to our forefathers. That's correct. An animatronic Reed Hastings will inform guests about Netflix's humble beginnings and meteoric rise from mail order DVD service to top shelf. I thought this is awesome.
Okay, yeah, I kind of dig that, actually. I wouldn't mind that one.
Netflix, so along with, getting my ass in a theater this October if you release Frankenstein on the big screen, I'm here for this one too.
Right?
Ta-dum! As they enter the park, visitors will be greeted by Ted and Elvin. Ted and Eleven. Duh. They are holding court in front of Netflix Castle, where the streamer keeps its data in the highest turret. How many people have watched your show? Who knows? Not you and not your agent, that's for sure. Haunted movie theater. North America has lost nearly 5,700 movie screens since 2019. Oh, I think this is our Black Mirror reference. Yes, the pandemic supercharged the shedding, but Netflix can share some of that credit. Yes. If they dare, park goers can venture inside a ghostly suburban multiplex. They also might be a few Netflix apparitions like the would-be Nancy Meyer's comeback rom-com, dressed in impeccably decorated piece.
Oh man, I love this so far.
Honoring Netflix's commitment to never go to the big screen. I'm telling you, put Frankenstein on the big screen. True crime merry-go-round. Serial killers, cult leaders, and catfishers, oh my. Whether it is a documentary or not. Okay, see, I already feel better about my kid going on this ride than the Brony one. Document this carousel theme for a fan favorite genre keeps on spinning. Riding it will have audiences saying, wait, I haven't seen this. Haven't I seen this before? No. Keep consuming product. They'd rather be streaming reality TV than commit a hinge date. Guests can float down a lazy river and see what the Fates, or Vanessa and Nick Lachey, have to offer. Or is that Lackey? Lachey?
So Love is Blind is one of Netflix's reality shows where they try to get couples
Nick
together.
Lachey.
Right?
Ha! I know people.
Yeah. So having a Nick Lachey themed Tunnel of Love, but the Love is Blind kind of thing sounds hilarious. Like that is something that I think would be funny
It's
as hell.
just
Date
a Willy
Nick
Wonka
Lachey.
ride.
No, dude. Like they blindfold you and put you in a swan with a random person, and you get to know them through the Tunnel of Love. Come on, that
Dude,
sounds
the
like it'd be
ride
hilarious.
asks you guys questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No matter if it's on cable or streaming, there is enough holiday cheer to go around. Here, guests can pop into a quaint bakery, a small-town bookshop, or the cozy childhood home of a former love, and prowling the streets of its North Star of Christmas season, Lindsay Lohan. Okay.
Yeah, so because Netflix does a lot of the Hallmark movies too, right?
Yeah. It may not be the most visited spot in the park, but it's filled with so it's the place where I'm going to be. Important work, namely legacy auteur projects that probably would not get financed at more risk-averse studios. No box office? No problem. These few films still grace the silver screen, at least in New York and LA, for 2 weeks.
Yeah, there you go. Damn, man. Like this is cutting, but it's so well done.
Yeah, it sounds like some of it might actually materialize, so.
Like the theory of Netflix doing a park doesn't actually sound that bad, but like this is to show like how stupid it could be, right?
Honestly, here's what you do, okay? And I'm just gonna say this, and someone's probably gonna put it into an AI algorithm and then blow it up on Twitter without mentioning me, but that's fine. I mean, it's not super fine, but anyway, be the karma you want to receive. They should just call it Streamer World. Get all the streaming services. Get Prime, get Apple, get Netflix, get all of them. And you basically look at the Disney World model park, and you go, all right, this chunk of shit goes to Bezos. Bezos, we want to see Fallout. We want to see, shit. What else was good at Amazon?
Citadel,
Yeah,
Silo.
maybe Citadel. Silo is Apple.
Oh, right. Never mind. The one that wasn't Silo. The one where we were following around robots that had human consciousness in them.
Oh, the Peripheral. Yeah, that
Peripheral.
also got canned.
Right. The Expanse was on Amazon.
All right, yeah. So Bezos, we want Fallout and Expanse Land from you. That's what we're
Right.
gonna do. Yeah. Well, Lord of the Rings? No. So let's see. And then Apple. Actually, Apple, we'll get back to you. Netflix, we'll take that map and slice up whatever we need to put the theoretical Netflix. That was actually pretty good. Unless, John, what do you want to see in the Netflix park?
Dude, I want The Witcher. Just want The Witcher 4.
Yeah.
Just call that the Netflix theme park. Witcher 4 Netflix Plus.
Yeah.
There you go.
But then, the big one. And then, of course, with Paramount. Yeah. Even though Paramount has a theme park, whatever, they can be invited too. We get Star Trek Land and whatnot. But Apple gets the biggest slice of the pie. Why does Apple get the biggest pie? Because we need a Masters of the Air Land. We need a little corner for everything else that's good that we watched. And I forget. Oh, yeah,
Foundation.
Dude,
Even.
what are you talking about?
Foundation.
The whole thing is Severance, and then each room is a different world. Like, you get to sever into Netflix. You get to sever into... Thought it
That
through.
just sounds like a bad idea waiting to happen.
But you know what the terrible part of your park idea
Like,
is?
that's the whole
You know
part.
you
It's
had a good idea, but you have no idea why. Because Park You is still...
That's right.
Well, no, dude. So it's more of like a multi-level thing. So you go through these levels, but like everyone that you get to the elevator, it's like a circle, right? So you go out, and then you go to the gift shop and into the elevator. But then as you're in the elevator, you get a place to drop your gifts at your car. And then you go out. And so then you're like, wait, did I just restart? And then you go to the next one. By the time you're done, you spent all of your life savings and signed up for 18 credit cards. It's a great book. I've thought it through. And so is the outcome.
Warner Bros. Animation and DC Studios order adult animation series Mr. Miracle. Warner Bros. Animation and DC have greenlit Mr. Miracle, an adult animated series based on the 12-issue Eisner Award-winning comic from writer Tom King and artist Mitch Gerads. King is executive producer and showrunner on the series, which is currently in production. Mr. Miracle marks the second adult-oriented animated project from Warner Bros. Animation and DC Studios following Creature Commandos, the James Gunn created series that is currently in production and on its second season for HBO. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the new series follows Scott Free, the world's greatest escape artist, known to the world as Mr. Miracle, whose perfect life with his warrior wife, Big Barda, falls apart when their two home worlds, Apocalypse and New Genesis, go to war, and Scott's cruel adoptive father, Darkseid, appears to have captured the ultimate weapon, the anti-life equation that will give him done. Say no more. I'm there.
Yeah. I mean, given how good DC animated films and series have been, this is a great idea.
I don't even want to read any more synopsis. I want to be surprised when the show comes out at this point. So I mean, unless you guys want to linger and talk about it, this sounds funny.
I'm going to say,
Very
I guess
excited.
this is the part I'm going to say. This was a comic book run that did not get, at the time, the attention it was due. But after it had completed and was a full series, got a lot of attention for how good it was. If they stay genuine, like fairly true to the comic, you are in for a great ride.
All right. And now, back to Star Wars. Stream ratings. Andor concludes with #1 overall ranking. The conclusion of Andor propelled the Star Wars series to another high mark, including #1 overall ranking in the Nielsen stream charts. Andor collected 931 million minutes of viewing for the week of May 12th to the 18th. Its final 3 episodes debuted on May 13th. Grew by 101 million minutes week to week, and set the series high in viewing time for the 4th consecutive time. One for every week Disney Plus released episodes of Season 2. So,
that's it, man.
We were right, and everybody else who thought we were wrong didn't know who to pay.
now,
So, here's the thing. Tune into our show and tell your assistants to watch our show extra times. That's all we ask.
Look, we knew that this was going to blow up big, right? We had every confidence, and
I'm happy that it started sooner rather than later, and yeah, it's very encouraging to see this now.
Yeah, I'm just glad it delivered. And I mean, we've talked about the benefits of Andor and all the good things it did. I think we've kind of talked it to death. I just love the fact that they actually managed to make this work the way we hoped they would. And let's carry on, man.
Yeah, two dubs for the Andor. All right. Even though I am ecstatic for Superman by James Gunn, and am very hopeful that it will be a decent movie, on the opposite end of the spectrum, The Batman Part 2, James Gunn says he'll see the script shortly. We've heard this one before, but...
Yes, but... I think, even if he sees the script and says, like, nah, this is not what we want right now, I mean, that's fine, right? My piece on this is that, it appears that the Batman 2 is moving forward. So at least there is that piece to it. I don't know what it's going to look like. It's going to be in its own self-contained universe. It's not part of the DC verse overall, according to James Gunn.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the last one, look, I had my reservations, I had my problems with it, but it wasn't a terrible movie. Right?
It honestly, I liked a lot of it. I felt the soundtrack was a little more Batman-y than the Hans Zimmer for The Dark Knight, but at the same time, The Dark Knight works, and The Dark Knight is still the perfect Kate movie. We just have not seen anything come. I don't even think come remotely close as far as quality and whatnot. But I did. It was good for what it was. It was up there as far as a good. It was better than. I would say I'd put it up there with the Keaton Batman easily. And the Keaton Batman's good for its own right, but probably about with the Val Kilmer Batman. Definitely better than Clooney Batman, but that's not the hardest. Bar.
That's not a hard. Yeah, that's not a hard bar.
That's basically doing a better movie than the first Transform. Oh no, sorry, bad example.
Yes, that is correct. Anyway, here's what I would say.
Movie is such ass.
All of them are.
Wrong,
look,
but
here's what I would say. I think that each of the Batman movies we've ever seen either does Bruce Wayne good or does Batman good. Very, very rarely do you get both done well. Yeah. And I would say this movie does Batman fairly well. I don't think it does Bruce Wayne very well, though.
Yeah, that I would agree with. Bale... See, and that was Bale's strength, was he had a pretty convincing Bruce Wayne, but his Batman was pretty, his Batman.
Right, like, his Batman was pretty rough, right?
Where were the other drugs going?
Like, I will say this for Clooney Batman, and even Batfleck. Batfleck could at least enunciate. Batfleck played a pretty good both role. I will say that between Batman and Bruce.
Yeah,
Wayne,
and I mean, like, and there were some that did both very well, right? But there were some that didn't. And usually it's because they're focused on one side of the character or the other. Because if you're playing Batman, really you are playing two very distinct and unique characters at the same time.
Yeah. For those of you listening too closely, you probably heard a noise go off on my end, and we are going to get that ready now. It is now time for the copyright infringement portion of our show, where we take a quick look at the upcoming clip or trailer for the King of the Hill revival.
Was this the family? Was this a Father's Day trailer?
Yeah.
Or teaser? Yeah, this is good.
Come give your old man a big hand.
Sorry, it's not letting me do full screen right there. All right, we're gonna start it over. Pause to the thing, and then hold on. Sure, have instead. Yep.
There you go.
Look who's here! Hey, Bobby, come give your old man a big handshake.
There you go.
Nowadays, Dad, beers tell stories.
Bobby, beers don't need to tell stories. They just need a fridge to keep them cold. Nobody likes a warm beer. The end.
5 stars?
I'm gonna give you a 4. That way it gives you something to work towards.
Let me know when you need me to take over, since I'm a professional now.
A professional comedian if you think I'm gonna let you take over for me.
So that's what would have happened if John and I's dad didn't grow up, I guess you could say. I'm a little sad to see Hank regress towards Boomer, but you know what? At the same time, it's gonna be funny, and it should be.
And you know what? I do think that there's potential in this remake, like revival. I really do think there is. From what we've heard, there is definite character arc changes for the characters, except for Hank and Peggy, because of a couple of reasons. And I think that makes the show just perfect, right? I'm kind of interested to see if the show ever puts Hank in the cotton role with Bobby as Hank and then a younger person involved,
Good Hank.
along the way. What? Yeah, good Hank. There we go.
Bobby's uncle.
Yeah. Like that would be perfect, right?
Hank's
Like
brother.
it would be a great way to advance the plot along.
Yeah. All right. It is now time for the last story of our podcast, and then we are going to be pretty much done for the evening. We've been going on an hour and a half. Wow, just like old times, and it felt pretty seamless.
And this one's a doozy too.
Yes. Top D&D designers join Critical Role after leaving Wizards of the Coast. Corione, why is this big news?
Okay, so you have to understand that for 5th Ed had about 5 architects that really made it arguably the best and most expensive to ever come out, most profitable edition of D&D to ever come out. Okay, 5th Ed, whether you like it or not, is the moneymaker of moneymakers for Wizards of the Coast. They got rid of the primary writing staff, the big 5 that made the series work, when they released the very unfortunate 2024-2025 edition. All of the big names left Wizards of the Coast, and it turns out, the rest of the industry thought that, they just take different roles, different studios, or they take time off and deal with life or whatever, or just be famous like Joe Manganiello. No, all of them got picked up by the guys who do Critical Role, because Critical Role is making a D&D competitor right now. So all the things, all the decisions that Wizards of the Coast said no to when these guys were saying, listen, if you want to make a lot of money, this is how we have to change things. All those things that they said no to, now these 5 can make for the Critical Role team. This is got the potential to turn the tabletop RPG market on its head, especially since not only are they going over now at like the worst time possible for Wizards of the Coast, with the latest edition not doing so great anymore, but with Critical Role comes a huge built-in audience that has loved watching Critical Role on YouTube. It's one of the more popular channels out there. It's arguably what got a lot of people into D&D in the new era in the first place. So if Critical Role is now saying to you guys, if you want to actually play the way we play and do the cool stuff we're doing around the table, get our new product, that's going to leave D&D 5th edition in the dirt. Additionally, Wizards of the Coast has pissed off an awful lot of players over the last while, and you can't keep honking off players when there are better products potentially available. This has the potential to kill Wizards of the Coast or kill D&D, so it's going to be worth paying very close attention to. So, guys, please discuss.
Well, I've been following this drama since we've been tracking it, it's a natural response when people try to take something that's established and use it for any and it doesn't matter what the personal gain is. Just the lesson here, as it is every time we go through this with anything, is you respect the intellectual property. Respect the fans. Keep the thing the way it is. It's like with Star Trek. People say, it got too preachy. Well, some episodes they did get a little abundantly preachy, whereas most forgot that Star Trek is 15% philosophy, 85% thrilling action, even diplomacy.
Yeah.
And so when it came to rewriting the rules of D&D, it was all entirely unnecessary to begin with, but it didn't have any intent to respect the fans. They were just going to do what they wanted regardless, and they didn't listen to any negative feedback because apparently negative feedback equals toxicity. Don't get me wrong. There's such thing as toxic feedback, but that's not constructive. That's not criticism. Toxic feedback is you suck, you therefore, you're bad at the end. Plenty of that anywhere. But legitimate, this is wrong because of X, Y, Z, and B. That's not to say that's
well, and I mean, I'll give you.
If you don't want to improve.
Yeah, like I'll give you a textbook example of this, and exactly to what you're saying. Standard D&D requires really 3 books to run. Okay, after that, you can pretty much do whatever you want. There's a lot of ancillary equipment, but if you have the player's guide, the Dungeon Master's Guide, and the Monster's Manual, you can pretty much make up your own campaigns and run your own stuff. What Wizards of the Coast didn't like was that only one person at the table had to buy those books in order for people to play. So 1 out of every 5 or 6 people had those books potentially at the table. They wanted to have everybody at the table be forced to buy a large number of the books so that they would make money from everybody, not just the one guy or sequence of guys who split the cost up. This is rumored to be part of the reason why some of these giants in the industry left Wizards of the Coast. They don't think it's under monetized. They think it's right monetized, and I tend to agree with them. Right?
Yeah.
Dude, they set the standard. If it costs $60 for 6 friends to get together and play Dungeons and Dragons, that means any video game that costs more than that has to be more fun than 6 friends getting together to play Dungeons and Dragons. But if Wizards of the Coast starts micro charging, it's suddenly the Apple of video games. And suddenly video games are like, no, microtransactions. You've seen D&D, we're nowhere near as bad as them. They're just selling paper. We're selling art. And like, yeah, I 100% agree. Graphic design is art. And I am working on learning how to do game design at every level on my own. And I am more than aware now how hard it is to do it. So yes, all parts of art design and game design is art. But if D&D starts selling microtransactions, now everybody gets to do it for 10x, 13x, 15x, because D&D is the standard. That's the price you pay when you invent RPG for the rest of the world. But at the same time, like Wizards of the Coast, that's all you do differently is you go, well, this isn't D&D. It's something that's exactly like D&D, but it's in mech suits.
Yeah.
Like, I get that it's a reskin and you're selling it also for $60, but I can forgive that a lot more than I can forgive, no, we're going to charge all the people.
That's it.
All right. Wow. Excellent show. Once again, great discussions all around. I want to thank everybody, Galinda, Jay, Skogly, for popping in. We appreciate all the support in the chat. We appreciate everybody. Views, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. We are going to be taking a break from this show next week, but we will be back the week after. Good night.
This has been a presentation of the Entertainment Information Intelligence Podcast from the Writer Brothers. The Writer Brothers. We've got more credibility and journalistic integrity than CNN and Fox News combined.